Good evening. Welcome to Grand Blanc Township's board meeting for Tuesday, May 26th. If you could all rise with me to join me in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Clerk Robertson, will you please call the roll?
I'd be happy to call the roll, Mr. Supervisor Bennett.
Here.
Myself, of course, I'm here. Treasurer Yancho.
Here.
Trustee Ryder.
Here.
Trustee Fike.
Here.
Trustee Hugo is absent. Trustee White.
Here.
6 members present, a quorum.
Thank you. I'll now entertain a motion for approval of the agenda. Motion by Mr. Fike.
Support.
Support by Mr. Yancho.
Motion by Fike, supported by Yancho. Trustee White.
Yes.
Supervisor Bennett.
Yes.
Myself, yes. Treasurer Yancho.
Yes.
Trustee Ryder.
Yes.
Trustee Fike.
Yes.
6-0, motion passes.
Thank you. And now we'll move to public comments. We just ask that you keep your comments to 3 minutes or less. And we have up first Ms. Sue Hendricks.
Sue Hendricks, Grand Blanc, obviously.
Dr. Hendricks.
Dr. Hendricks, that's all right. I'm again here to discuss the flat cameras. I know this isn't what you signed up for. You wanted to govern, do contracts, parks, all those cool things. But these are unprecedented times when we need you to rise to the moment and protect Grand Blanc residents. Flat cameras and FLOC bring severe unconstitutional issues around privacy and civil rights. Information is gathered, often information that would normally require a warrant. They are being used to create established profiles and detailed profiles using long-term storage and widespread sharing. They are creating vehicular fingerprints, which are also searchable online. FLOC says it can't be hacked, but that's actually been proven not to be true. They've already been misused to stalk women, protesters, op-ed writers, immigrants, gun show attendees, reproductive health care seekers, and there's also been false arrests based on false identification of people. Detroit is paying out a lawsuit on that one as we speak. Do you want to abet these practices? They are sharing their data with CBP and ICE. The head of FLOC has stated he wants a nationwide surveillance web. I asked, one, when the next contract comes up for renewal, that you decline to renew. Many communities here in Michigan and nationwide are already doing so. You need to protect us. 2, in the meantime, make it harder to come after us. Limit data retention, limit searches to only trusted state and local authorities unless there is a warrant. Limit hot lists. The ALPR data is not all criminal, that list ALPR data, not all criminal databases are reliable. Make sure if you're using this, you are using reliable sources. Limit the type of infractions for which ALPR hits can be generated to criminal offenses only. We need you to rise to these times that we are now find ourselves. Our future, both locally and nationally, depends on you now in this moment.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Etter. Good evening.
Good evening, Eder. Thank you for your service to the community. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
I'd like to speak about things that are dear to me, and that's fire department and the police department. Very dear to me. You have item 9A, collaboration with other municipalities. We've done this before. It didn't work. We did it with the city. It cost the township service and money. We didn't get as good as services, and it cost us more money. Our police department and our fire department already collaborate with other municipalities. Police department, I know, it's unheard of how many things they do with the county and that. Mutual aid, fire department, we already have mutual aid. We collaborate. Mutual aid is collaborating. Are we going to be the leaders in this, or are we going to be the followers? The residents of Grand Blanc need control of their safety and their well-being, not collaborating it. We want to be good neighbors, and we are good neighbors, but we can't sacrifice our independence and our identity to collaborate with the rest of the communities around us. That's a sacrifice. Our fire department is new. They're not many years old. Give them a chance to grow independently and be a model for other municipalities. Not just throw them into a pool of fire departments. Really want us to be independent, but we want to be good neighbors and help. So, thank you for listening to me.
Thank you. Okay, seeing no further public comment, did we get everybody? Okay, seeing no further public comment, we'll close public comment, bring it back to the board. And at this time, I will entertain a motion for approval of the consent agenda. If somebody, Mr. White makes that motion.
Support.
Supported by Mr. Yancho.
Motion by White, supported by Yancho on the consent agenda. Trustee Hugo is absent. Trustee White,
Yes.
Trustee Fike,
Yes.
myself, yes. Supervisor Bennett,
Yes.
Trustee Ryder,
Yes.
Treasurer Yancho.
Yes.
6-0, motion passes.
Thank you. And now we have a privileged presentation regarding the Grand Blanc Relief Fund from Community Foundation of Greater Flint. We have Ms. Lynn Williams, who is Director of Equity and Community Engagement for Community Foundation of Greater Flint. And just a little bit of background is that when we had the church shooting, the Community Foundation, Dan Kildee called immediately and said, what can we do to help? Same with Ridgeway White from the Mott Foundation. And both wanted to offered the support of their foundations through the generosity of a number of other foundations that have made contributions to the Community Foundation as well as Mott Foundation. It's grown to be a sizable amount of money. There is another fund over at Elga that is more for individual needs, but I think this fund is being reserved for some longer-term type things. But Ms. Williams is here because we have a fairly large committee that is working on maybe some long-term things to help our community. And I'll let you take it from there, Ms. Williams. Okay.
Thank you so much, and thank you all for the opportunity to speak to you for a few minutes about the Grand Blanc Relief Fund. As was mentioned, it is a fund that has been established at the Community Foundation, in response to the tragic events at the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in the Township. And the fund was established initially through a generous donation, $250,000 from the Child Stewart Mott Foundation. Since then, there have been other gifts to the fund. I didn't get the total amount, so I can't tell you what that is now, but I could send that information to you if you'd like. The Grand Blanc Relief Fund, so there's a committee of folks that are representative of Grand Blanc Township, the Grand Blanc Church, Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints Church, as well as mental health professionals, I think medical, social work, and community folks have come together, and they've been meeting for a while, and they are wanting to make decisions about the funds that they're going to be distributing. They don't want to just make decisions and assume. So I, as a staff person at the Community Foundation, are helping them to host a series of conversations or focus groups with the community to really get a sense of what the priorities and the needs, ongoing needs for support are going to be, immediate needs and ongoing needs. So I'd like, if I could, to share with you a couple of and maybe get your response to a couple of the questions that we'll be asking many other groups throughout the community. So initially, I think we'll open up describing the fund as we just have. And then really wanting to get a sense of, one, has anything in life or work changed as a result of the violence that was inflicted upon the Grand Blanc Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints? And if so, in what ways?
One more time, Ms. Williams, on that question.
Has anything in life or work changed as a result of the violence inflicted upon the Grand Blanc Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints? If it has, in what ways?
Mr. Fike?
Yeah. I live right next door there. And there was a concern by some in our subdivision whether moving forward, people might not want to live there. Or that the property values would go down because of that. But I don't know that anybody could do anything about that. I think that's just kind of life, you know?
Okay, very good.
Any other thoughts?
Anybody else have any thoughts? I think, one of the concerns that since that violence occurred in our community, horrible violence, I think people have a fear of assemblies, whether it's going to church. I think people are much more cognizant and aware that, these types of things occur, being that it happened right here in our own neighborhood. So I think people are much more cognizant of it and aware of it when they go someplace. I don't have the answer for what we do about that, but I think that's one of the things that's at the forefront of people's minds. Michelle?
Yeah, that's kind of what I was going to say. The times that I've been to the stadium since that, I sadly pay attention like I would at a large, at Ford Field or something. I think it sticks with you when it comes to assembling in large numbers. I remember when we had the vigil, and it was like, so.
The heavy presence of security at the vigil.
Yeah.
Anybody else? Mr. Yancho?
I wonder if there might be a training program for the participants at our various churches and other organizations where we recognize that there may be some fear of assembly. So just something to help those people so they can establish policy.
Sure. And that's something I've heard
Yeah.
twice before.
Michelle?
I know that Sheriff Swanson has put on a couple of workshops like that for church leaders and things of that nature to kind of, almost kind of what you said of how to handle something if it were to break out. But
know-
I think the community is really like that, so anything.
We do, our police department does the ALICE training. In fact, our staff goes through it every 2 years, I think, here. And they actually were some of the leaders in that, but, maybe it's expanding on that with other organizations here in our community.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've got one more thing.
Sure, go ahead,
Our
Joe.
pastor at our church, Holy Family, Father Joe, mentioned that since then, it was determined that our church was also targeted that day. It was never really publicly released then, but a year later, it was released. So I wonder if perhaps some of the money could be used for extra security, let's say, for other churches who are now a little concerned about the gatherings.
Sure.
Or at least for the
Definitely.
training. Okay.
Definitely noting that. Well, so you actually have already started along the next question, and I'm not going to do all of the questions, but I would like to know of some other thoughts about ongoing needs for support, maybe in the community and in the neighborhoods and in the church, near the churches. Are there other thoughts about
ongoing support.
ongoing support needed.
Mr. White?
Has the fund distributed any money yet?
The fund, I think there may have been some money, not very much though.
Well,
There
here's,
may have been some immediate needs.
I've got an answer. We have the Victims Compassion Fund, and that has, in fact, I approved there's a 3-person committee that evaluates the requests, and I gotta say, I think all of them have been granted, but yes, that has given out significant amount of money for immediate needs, things like funeral expenses, travel expenses for family to attend the funerals, things of that nature, cars that were destroyed, or not totally destroyed, but repairs to them from the fire, what have you, lost personal items in the situation. So the fund has been used for those immediate. I think what the idea of this fund is more to look at the broad scope of what is it in our community that we can do
Right.
that leaves a legacy for, what I've always said, and I think our township has said this as well and others, that we don't want to be known by the tragedy, but how we responded. And the fund is kind of the answer to that, of how are we going to respond moving forward so that maybe we prevent something like this from happening again, or, so I'll leave it at that. Yeah, Michelle?
Aside from the committee, which seems like it's well represented of all the key people, has there been any kind of focus group or something like that? Maybe a town hall or something where we can hear from the community?
That's what we're about to start. So this is sort of almost the beginning of that process. So yeah, but there definitely are plans. As a matter of fact, there will be one with first responders tomorrow at the Krim Fitness Foundation at 11:30. I think it's maybe 11:30 to 1. And I'm sure you're welcome to.
So yes, there are a number of those planned.
Number are planned.
We're kicking it off a little bit. So I offered our group for the board to be able to give some input, because I wasn't sure how much, everybody knew what was going on, so. All right.
The last thing I'd like to ask you to maybe respond to, or at least just think about, the fund has some initial priorities for Grand Blanc Relief Fund, and they include immediate victim support, violence prevention, mental health, diversity, inclusion, and combating hate, crowdsourcing solutions, especially with youth, legacy, demonstrate the resilience of LDS Grand Blanc Ward, supporting faith-based leadership and broader community, something that came up. Is there anything you think we're missing?
It is a very diverse group that's represented, from mental health to healthcare to first responders to elected officials. When you look at each one of those are kind of like the headlines, Ms. Williams, I think, that you read. And underneath those, there's a number of activities that have been suggested for each one of those, everything from community-wide events to using education in the school. So I think it's a pretty wide range of things, but the committee is definitely open to hearing any other suggestions or concerns. Mr. Yancho?
Will the focus group include any advisors from outside the local area, for instance, communities that have undergone similar tragedies, and what steps they have taken to recover and where they found the greatest need was?
There is a particular focus group that's being planned for particularly faith-based organizations from throughout community, throughout Genesee County. And as there have been other events and sort of getting feedback there, there may be other county-wide type focus groups planned as we're moving along with this process. So that is definitely something I'll make a note of.
There is a group, Common Ground, that actually is involved, has been involved, and comes to an area as soon as something like this happens. And actually, the Resiliency Center that was set up immediately, they're a good part of. So yes, they are being consulted, but ongoing type of, it's not going to be called Resiliency Center, but there is going to be availability for ongoing counseling for anybody who's been affected by this. So whether it's first responders or individuals in the community. So those things are being organized currently. There's some very good resources out there that have come to our aid. Anything else anybody wants to add or questions that you might have on the fund?
I just want to build off what you said about the schools. Is there, because when my son was in the high school, I would get, there's threats made, and is there something that we could do in the schools as far as violence prevention and I know it's an ongoing thing, but that's an area that I have 2 middle schoolers now, and it's like, we're going to do the high school thing again, and it's.
Yes, there's definitely a lot of things that exist to focus on intervention with youth. And one of the things, before we actually identify what particular interventions or programs or initiatives, is really we plan to have conversations with Grand Blanc youth as well. Yep. And there's a conversation, or it might, I think now that we've gotten toward the end of school, it might be a survey, but focused with our Grand Blanc Youth Advisory Council, the youth that are part, of the Grand Blanc Fund. So that's the first. And
because we don't want to duplicate services either. So
Grand Blanc schools are part of the committee as well.
yes.
okay.
Yeah, that's a good component, and that has been brought up.
Thank you again for your time. I greatly appreciate it, and I wish you well.
Thank you very
All
much.
of this important work that you do.
Well, and thank you, and please let it be known that the Community Foundation was one of the first to offer their support, along with the Mott Foundation and Ridgeway White and Dan Kildee. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Good evening.
Okay, with that, we'll move to new business, and the board will consider a motion to approve participation in a study to examine the benefits of collaboration and provision of fire services with other municipalities in Genesee County. Just to briefly introduce this topic, it's been something that's been on our radar for quite a while, and just to address some of the concerns, there is no preconceived notion with this study in terms of what the outcome is going to be. I think nobody's suggesting surrendering their local fire department to an overall authority. Nobody's suggesting that we're going to take over or be taken over by any fire entity. What this simply is looking forward at what is the potential for funding. It was very interesting. I attended a conference recently where the state fire marshal spoke, and he had a picture of about 8 individuals in firefight, well, not your typical firefighting gear, but one of them was in a hazmat suit, and he brought up the fact that, who do we call on when there's a hazardous waste issue or a hazardous, chemical situation? The fire department. Who do we call on when there's a water rescue that's needed? Okay, here's the person in the, the clothing and the outfit for water rescue. And went through the whole list, construction site rescue. And where do we intend to get the money, to pay for all these different divisions? And then also, you brought up the fact that, In the past, some of us probably heard of having a pancake breakfast to raise money for, fire department, and obviously that's not going to do anything these days. But the whole idea behind it was looking at, the whole structure and needs for fire are totally different than what they were even 10 years ago. And so this is to look at a perspective of where are the areas that we could collaborate with local fire departments. We're surrounded by a number of communities that we give mutual aid to a lot right now, and they have a lot of needs, and I won't compare who has greater need, but the bottom line is this is just taking a look into the future to say what is the need going to be financially, and how are we going to address that in the future, and are there some ways that we can save on money? Maybe it's doing group purchasing amongst all 5 municipalities. It might be even more municipalities, but it's to sit down with each of the fire chiefs, sit down with our finance departments for each of the municipalities, and really take a look at what are the possibilities for moving forward and collaborating together to figure out how that does it. Take a look at our staffing needs, look at other communities, what their staffing needs are around us. So it's something we've been banging around for a while. Mr. Yancho, and then
Well, I think that there's some other communities that have done similar studies and moved forward with different types of collaborations that have been effective and ongoing. Is that correct?
Yes. We're not alone in this group that we have that would do the study, has done a number of these around the country and has helped find some solutions to some other communities. Mr. Fike?
Couple things. So we would pool our resources, the 5 groups, and for this, whatever this study costs.
Right.
And then there'll be recommendations from this on how we could collaborate to save money.
Correct.
Now, are you saying, Scott, about it's become so departmentalized, so segmented, these things like water rescue? Does every jurisdiction need a whole water rescue thing, or could one be the water rescue jurisdiction and another be the hazmat? I don't know, to
Right.
kind of separate it a little bit, spread it out.
Right. Yeah, that's something, possibility, I guess, too. When we had a need with regard to IT several years ago, probably even prior to this board, I know it was prior to this board, we brought in somebody to do an assessment of all of our IT and to tell us where we're at. And, we looked at the budget that it would require, and it looked insurmountable. It's like, how in the world are we ever going to accomplish, climbing this mountain? And over, when you put together the plan as to how you get there, you see a way to get there. And so this is basically to help us with our planning and looking forward at, from an outside group's point of view, as far as, and taking into consideration the opinions of the chiefs, the finance departments, and, all these departments that we're working with have needs of various types, so, including ours. So what better way than to get together? The cost of it will be based on taxable value, and so we broke it down because we have, a couple of the municipalities are very small in terms of taxable values, so they wouldn't pay as much, but hopefully the benefit would equal that cost. Yes, Ms. Ryder?
I think the study is a great idea. Chief Gent, can you tell us how you feel about the idea of the collaboration? Sorry to put you on the spot.
He was going to be on my list, but I want to get our board's input.
Oh,
From what I know about it, it's just kind of a broad collaborative study, just trying to focus on revenues and resource sharing at this point. That's the point of the proposal that I've gotten so far.
right. Is it something you think would be helpful for your department?
Anytime you can have any more information is better information. The more information you have to make a decision going forward with a fire department or any sort of public safety service, the better off you are going to be in the future.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Oh.
Mike?
Chief, one more thing. Sorry. Have you ever been part of anything like this before in all your years? I mean,
Nothing like this in particular,
Yeah.
but when we did, when I was with Dearborn
Yep.
and we merged with the city of Melvindale, we did do a similar study on not necessarily how we're going to collaborate, but the costs that were going to be involved and the logistics that were going to be involved in merging those two entities.
because my sense is, we're not reinventing the wheel, as the cliche is, that this has probably been done. And perhaps we can learn from some of these other places that have done this about how we could go about doing this.
And, we're amongst several municipalities that have the potential or are growing substantially. Mundy Township, if the Advanced Manufacturing District is able to come about, which we all hope does, that's going to require substantial investment in fire protection. We have Fenton Township that's growing by leaps and bounds. The city of Fenton, we got Atlas Township, which has got a little bit of growth, but all have different needs. So we're in a growth portion of the county. So, Mr. Robertson, Clerk Robertson?
I support item 9A. I want to just say that I think that Supervisor Bennett, you and Superintendent Levita have approached the issue methodically and in a very deliberative fashion. Under what we've been through over the last nearly a year, prudence required that we look at what the way we do things, and I think we've already made progress with regard to our own department. Superintendent Levita spoke to that at last meeting of the hiring that we've already done, an additional full-time person. I think that it's certainly in keeping with the support that we've given to the fire department all along. And we obviously have the ribbon cutting on the June 8th, which I'm sure you're going to mention in your report. And I think doing the study is a worthwhile thing so that we can figure out whether or not there's ways to collaborate. Obviously, this type of service, we've already mentioned mutual aid and the routine nature of the mutual aid. So there's already precedent for us providing service across municipal boundaries. So that speaks to why we should consider a regional collaboration with the southern part of the county. I'm glad that it's been, the other municipalities are open to it, and I look forward to a productive examination and a good report from the folks we are going to have do this.
Thanks.
Thank you very much.
And when we brought the other board, we're actually one of the last to approve this. All the other municipalities that are part of this have already approved it. But yeah, the collaboration, for example, with the city of Grand Blanc on our EMS, I believe is working out pretty well from the data I've seen just in the first month. The response times have been pretty substantial improvement, that is. But I appreciate, the chief's going to be heavily involved in the study as well as the other chiefs that are part of this 5 municipality group. So.
Is a motion in order, Mr. Supervisor?
It is.
Then I will make the motion on item 9A.
Supported by Mr. Fike. Thank you, Chief.
Supported by Fike. Okay.
One last thing. I have heard from somebody in the public that we're spending lots of money on expensive consultants and what have you, instead of hiring firefighters, which is simply not true. This is the only consulting group that we have hired and intend to hire to investigate this, and this is something we've talked about doing for quite a while. So,
Shall I proceed
go
with
ahead.
roll call?
Go ahead.
Treasurer Yancho.
Yes.
Trustee White.
Yes.
Trustee Fike.
Yes.
Myself, yes. Supervisor Bennett.
Yes.
Trustee Ryder.
Yes.
6-0. Motion passes.
Thank you. And item B, the board will consider a motion for approval of zoning case number 674V, signage on township properties. And we have Mr. Smith with us this evening from Planning and Zoning. Good evening.
Good evening. At the May 7th Planning Commission meeting, they had a public hearing for the zoning amendment for the 674V as already described. This is for section 5.19.5 to amend the sign ordinance to regulate signs on township properties. Planning Commission recommended approval to the Township Board with a 7-0 vote. The Planning and Zoning Department would also recommend a motion for approval on the above-mentioned amendment as presented. In your packet, you have the memo explaining why and how we got to be with this. This was something with the Clerk's Department and myself to kind of combat the signage, not necessarily during election time, but during the whole year. So the verbiage you have in front of you basically says, except for signs that serve a governmental purpose as determined by the Township Board, no sign shall be located in or project into township property, including township parks and any property owned and maintained by the township. So no signs are allowed, period, the end, unless you folks approve it.
Any questions, concerns?
So for a campaign sign,
Nothing. No signs on township property. We are not a polling location. No signs.
a private property,
What's that?
private property you could.
This is township-owned property,
Township-owned.
township-owned and maintained and operated.
Got it.
I'll make a motion that we move
Motion
forward.
from Supervisor Bennett, supported by
Yes.
Yancho. Okay. On item 9B, Trustee Ryder,
Yes.
Treasurer Yancho,
Yes.
Trustee White,
Yes.
Trustee Fike,
Yes.
myself, yes. Supervisor Bennett,
Yes.
6-0, motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Future agenda items, we'll hold off on that. We're going to start into our strategic plan and reviewing those. I'll get with Mr. Limata on what that will be. Mr. Yancho, anything to report?
No.
Treasury? Clerk Robertson, anything?
Nothing to report, sir.
Just a couple of things. One is we have the Perry Pioneer Days coming up out at the Perry House this Saturday. Love to have everyone out there. They got lots of great things planned, and as we know, as we had discussion with regard to the new use of that Perry homestead, should be.
What is the time on that?
I'm sorry.
The time?
I believe it's 11
10 to 1?
till. Don't quote me, but it's on our Parks and Rec Facebook page.
It's also on the Township Facebook page.
Yeah.
Got it.
You caught me not knowing. I know I have to be there at noon.
That was my goal.
One other point, dear, ribbon cutting for our new fire station and Department of Public Service building is going to be on Monday, June 8th at 5:30 PM. Would love to have everybody there. We'll have tours and a whole lot of information for everybody, so I'm looking forward to that. Mr. White?
Oh, I got the email. It's 11 to 3 on Saturday.
11 to 3 on Saturday? Okay, thanks. For the Perry Pioneer Days, that is.
Yes.
Also, we've talked, one of the things that's going to be coming up is our master plan update. And come on up, Mr. Smith, please. So one of the things that we want to do is have maybe a couple of opportunities for our planning commission and for our board to get together to discuss what some of the priorities are, to look at some of the zoning maps and see how that fits with, over the course of the last 5 years, what's changed and what might need changing. Mr. Smith?
Yes, sir. So every 5 to 7 years, the township is either required to make a motion to either stay the course and stay with the master plan as presented, or we need to take a deep dive into it and look and see if there's any changes that we'd like to make. I think we sat down with Supervisor Bennett and Mr. Limata, and we've come to the conclusion that we want to move forward and we want to make some changes. There's some zoning districts that we feel that we have multiple of that I don't think we need anymore, and we can combine those together. Other things of rezonings. If there's zonings that are currently in the works that don't fit anymore or don't make sense anymore, these are the times that we can sit and we can look at these maps, circle items, and then we can change them per the master plan. And then the folks that own these properties don't have to come into necessarily have a full rezoning. They still have to rezone the properties per the future land use map, but at least it's already there on the future land use map to say, this is already what we can do with it. You don't have to stick with this zoning that's not working. We feel this is more appropriate for those areas.
So the two dates that we're looking at, maybe the first one being this next Thursday?
Next Thursday is the Planning Commission at 7 o'clock. We have a light agenda, so we would hope that some people from today's board can come and sit down with us. It's a work session. I'll have all the maps out. We can kind of just sit down and collaborate and see what we can come up with. And then I would like to have another one after a township board meeting, probably after or before another light meeting, sometime in the near future, hopefully before the end of the quarter.
Maybe we'll make them sit through our whole board meeting. Okay. If anybody can make it next Thursday,
It's Thursday at 7 o'clock, June 4th.
we'll ask just RSVP in case, just so we have an idea. And we can plan another date if that doesn't work, but
If you can make one or the other, you don't have to
Yeah.
make both. It'll probably kind of be the same topics at both, but we'd like to have everybody at least at one of them so we
Yeah.
can collaborate together.
okay. So we'll send something out to everybody and poll the board and see what works.
Email me to RSVP.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sounds good. Thank you, Mr. Smith. With that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Okay, supported by Mr. Fike.
Motion by Fike.
No, motion by Yancho. Supported by Fike.
Yancho, seconded by Fike. To adjourn, we are adjourned at 6:41 PM.
Thank you, everyone.